Live from Pratt & Whitney Stadium in East Hartford, Connecticut, it is day 2 of the Tournament of Nations as the U.S. women's national team gets set to take on Australia. Earlier today, Japan fell to Brazil 2-1. 3 teams now are tied with 3 points apiece, but the U.S. has the edge on Australia for the top spot based on goals scored. Hello and welcome into the studio for Fox's coverage of the Tournament of Nations. I'm your host, Katie Witham, and I'm so excited to be joined alongside by former U.S. women's national team midfielder Leslie Osborne. Leslie, this game is a big one today because this could be the deciding fixture in this tournament. The last time the U.S. played Australia, they lost. Did they come into this one with a chip on their shoulder today?
Absolutely. That was a turning point for both teams. Australia had never beaten the U.S. before, so to have that confidence and belief, not only that they can hang with the #1 team, but to beat them, they believe they can be some of the top teams in the country and world. And for the U.S. to lose to Australia, having a slow start in 2017, this loss against Australia a year ago is when Jill Ellis changed everything to a 4-3-3, inserting Julie Ertz into that holding midfield position. And the chemistry started between Megan Rapinoe and Alex Morgan. In fact, in the last 13 games that they've consecutive played together, they've had a hand in 31 of the 37 U.S.'s last goals. That's how incredible things are happening with the chemistry and the partnerships that have formed.
They've been fun to watch, no doubt. They are in Jill Ellis's starting 11. Who else is out there?
Well, Jill Ellis makes 2 changes from their last game against Japan. She sticks to the 4-3-3. Becky Sauerbrunn back in action after coming back from her leg injury. She needs to bring leadership and experience to help this backline stay organized and deal with Sam Kerr and the pressure from Australia. Same midfield as Japan. I need to see better rotation and mobility between those 3. And Tobin Heath making a big impact coming off that bench against Japan. She gets the start up top.
Let's take a look at the other side of things. And who does Alan Stejich and Australia have out there?
Well, they're going to also stay in their 4-3-3, only making 1 change. They're fast, they're aggressive, they love to press all over the field. And Alana Kennedy in the back line, number 14. She's physical, good in the air, and her and Polkinghorn are going to have their hands full with an Alex Morgan. And all eyes on number 20, Sam Kerr, arguably the best player in the world. She loves to find those seams, take players on, can score at almost any angle, and loves running at players. So the U.S. is going to be busy tonight.
Her manager said that she has the presence and the aura that Abby Wambach used to garner on the field. Well, anticipation is building for the U.S. fans who will be hoping for a repeat performance from their side's opening match win as we near kickoff in Connecticut. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Tecate. We are bold.
There is the trophy. That's what they're playing for here in the Tournament of Nations. They're expecting over 22,000 fans in attendance as the U.S. gets set to take on Australia. Kickoff when we return. Stay with us. Pregame is sponsored by AT&T.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with 0 sugar. This is the Pepsi with 0 compromises. This is Pepsi 0 Sugar.
So you have your headphones, chair, and your laptop, 24/7 tech support.
Yep, thanks guys. I think he might need some support.
Yes.
Start them off right with the school supplies they need at low prices all summer long. Save $200 on this Dell laptop at Office Depot Office Max.
When you carry out large 3-topping pizzas from Domino's for $7.99 each, you don't want bad roads ruining your good pizza. So we're doing something about them. If your drive home is rough on pizza, submit it at havenforpizza.com and we might fix it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and welcome Naval Counselor, Petty Officer First Class Maria Tiomiko to sing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Petty Officer First Class Maria Tiomiko.
We are all set for kickoff. Let's send it out to your match commentators today, JP Delacamera and Ali Wagner.
Thank you, Katie. The USA will make a couple of changes in their starting 11 today, Ali, to try to beat Australia, the last team that beat them a year ago.
Well, part of that is going to be because against Japan, they gave up some opportunities right down the heart of the defense in that center back position. Becky Sauerbrunn will slot in for Davidson. That partnership of Dahlkemper-Sauerbrunn, last time those two started out together was back in November against Canada when they did in fact concede a goal. And they're going to have their hands full today with Sam Kerr up top. But focus in for the U.S. on Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Tobin Heath, who's returning to form. Alex Morgan had that hat trick the other night. Megan Rapinoe joined in on the action with 1 goal, 1 assist.
Here's Australia's lineup coming off the win against Brazil.
And we believe this is how they're going to line up, and it looks like Styac is going with pace, slotting Lagarzo into that attacking mid role. She plays a 10 for her club team in the W League with Sydney FC. If that is in fact the case, Haley Razzo, Devana, Sam Kerr up top, all power and pace. Sam Kerr continuing her form in that match against Brazil, found the back of the net one time.
It's a battle between two of the top strikers in the world, and Alex Morgan and Sam Kerr. So the captains, Alex Morgan will continue to wear the captain's armband, and it will be Elise Kellen-Knight wearing the armband for Australia. Our match referee is Miriam Leon from El Salvador. That is Alan Styac, successful coach for Australia. Got him to the quarterfinals in the last World Cup and also the last Olympics. It's the second game of a doubleheader today in Connecticut. First game went to Brazil over Japan 2-1. So the U.S. and Australia start the day each with 3 points. Same with Brazil, but Brazil has that -1 goal differential. Goal differential is the first tiebreaker. Japan is in last with no points. U.S. in their final huddle in blue. 17 games unbeaten for the U.S. Australia's coming in on a pretty good run as well. Only lost twice in the last 15 games. And Australia comes out with some confidence, even though they've beaten the U.S. only one time. It was the most recent one.
And they've been building since that moment. I think they found that they could, yes, obviously get a result against the U.S., but they also gained confidence in the fact that they could dominate the match, that they could control the tempo at times, and that was something they hadn't been able to do before. It'll be interesting tonight to see who goes on the front foot early.
Alan Styac says he wants his team to be aggressive and take the game to the opponent, regardless of who the opponent is, even if it's the U.S. The U.S. is coming off that win over Japan, 4-2 on Thursday. A hat trick for Alex Morgan, her 4th in her career. Megan Rapinoe with a goal and an assist in that game. Morgan is over the ball. We wait for the whistle again. It's been started. Underway from East Hartford, Connecticut. U.S. in blue, Australia in the bright yellow. Ball is pushed ahead. Carpenter's in the chase back. 7 of the 11 starters for Australia play in the U.S. in the NWSL. All 11 starters for the U.S. play in their domestic league. No foul given there, as Australia will try to break it upfield. They'll always be looking for Kerr. We try to ride on the shoulders of the 2 center backs. Kerr takes it out wide this time. Nice move. Almost beat 2 players there, earns the first corner.
Well, she has the agility, but she also has just that strength in her movement when players try to push her off the ball. Good center of gravity for Sam Kerr.
9 goals tied with the USA's Lindsey Horan for the most goals in the NWSL this season. Elise Kellen Knight will take the corner. Alyssa Nair playing in her home state of Connecticut. Ball to the near post, headed away. The chase is on. Australia will flip it back towards the USA penalty area. Soft touch there, and now cleared away. It's initially off of Dunn. Now gathered in. U.S. Morgan Bryant. Given away. 2 teams taking turns giving the ball away. Coming all the way back to the USA penalty area. Sauerbrunn had a foot injury. Missed the January camp, missed the She Believes Cup, and now back in the starting 11 at the expense of the impressive rookie Tierna Davidson.
But the U.S. has looked a little porous in the center back position, and I think this is going to be an interesting test, especially with Kerr on the pitch for that partnership of Sauerbrunn and Dahlkemper.
Carpenter's long throw in into the box. There's one in the air and cleared away. That's Rapinoe's touch. Out for a USA throw in. Polkinghorne, part of a core group of players that Alan Stites spoke to us about yesterday. The core players have been together now, Ali, for several years in tournaments.
They've started as, young under-16s, and they've rose up together, and you're seeing a conviction and belief with each other, with Sam Kerr leading the way, and how they have just a familiarity with how they play.
Horan to the right for Sonnet. Tobin Heath rewarded with a start this afternoon, after being very impressive coming into the 54th minute Thursday in Kansas City against Japan.
And you saw when she got on that ball, 3 Australians converged on her. They know you've got to get numbers around her, not just 1 defender, but 2 and 3 to stop her.
Sonnet holds there. She and others playing against their club teammates in this game. As this ball will roll out, it'll be a goal kick for Lydia Williams, who plays for Seattle Reign. Becoming a regular in that holding midfielder spot now. A center back at the last World Cup and a good one, but now her position has changed, and she might even be a better midfielder, holding midfielder, than she was at center back.
She was on the outside looking in for a while there when she couldn't get into that center back spot, and since she moved into that holding mid with Rory Dames in Chicago, Jill Ellis took that little cue and slotted her in, and she's been there ever since.
It's a nice move by Dunn, but then the pass got away. Australia in the yellow on the attack. Haley Rasso to the end line. Ball played across. Just missed Kerr. Settled in the box. Quick shot blocked. Australia nearly had an opportunity there as Heath leaves it off. Cleared upfield. That was off Morgan. Alex Morgan's going to face a different kind of team today defensively than Japan.
Yeah, I mean, this is an aggressive defensive team with Australia has. They rotate hard in those outside back spots. They track you hard in the half space. Something Japan didn't do in that first match. She's going to have to be on top of her hold-up play today, that's for sure.
There's pretty good pressure from Australia, but the U.S. breaks it and escapes. All the way to the outside, Rapinoe. That's a nice ball. Dunn on the overlap with a cross inside. No one there in blue to knock it home. The last touch by Carpenter. It should be a USA throw-in.
And that's a fascinating matchup to keep your eye on. Haley Rasso and Crystal Dunn. Rasso's the one that has to do all the tracking back.
Cross from Bryan. Heath in the air. Morgan was going for it, but it's grabbed by Lydia Williams. Rolled ahead, up the middle.
And this is a look. It just comes off of a throw, and Australia goes to sleep. Morgan Bryan gets him behind. No real pressure there from Van Egmond. Tobin Heath rises up, but can't redirect that hard enough into the path of Morgan.
Ball out, throw in for Australia. This telecast is brought to you by AT&T. Australia heading it towards Kerr. Off a block. The Aussies will move it out wide. Right side, and Rasso took her eye off of it. Out for a U.S. throw-in. Only one change in this lineup from the game against Brazil.
And Lagarzo is, in fact, to be in that center midfield spot with Kellen Knight holding on to that left back role. Typically, she can play as that holding mid for Australia, but they don't have Catley in this tournament, so she's been slotting in there. A lot of pace. Lagarzo has good pace, and obviously that front three do.
Horan beating Lagarzo with that ball inside. Rapinoe to the end line, trying to cut it back. Earns a corner for the U.S. Rapinoe picking up an assist the other night, her 7th of this calendar year to lead the team. There for Australia at the near post. Rasso is there as Rapinoe strikes. Near post she goes. It's deflected away. And Devana got crushed there as Rapinoe sends it back in, but it's wide of goal. Goal kick, Lydia Williams.
It's been high pace for both sides. The U.S. earns this corner kick. Rapinoe's just trying to flight that into the near post. Drive it, bend it, with Julie Ertz making that familiar near post run. She can't get to it first. Then the battle between Dunn and Devana.
30-year-old Lydia Williams will put it back into play for Australia. They've already qualified for the next World Cup in France. U.S. still has to go through qualifying in October. Horan's pass ahead, deflected. Bryan keeping it to the outside. Tobin Heath can't get around. It's a good block there from at least Kellen Knight.
She was isolated 1v1. Heath loves that. I know that was off of a goal kick, but that was better shape from the U.S. with their midfield in support of Alex Morgan. Just the quick 1-2 bounce pass off of her.
Off the chest, was almost lost by Australia. Dunn. Sauerbrunn. Ertz. There's Dahlkemper trying to play it long, that's blocked. Coming back, and a bounce away from Sonnet, who will have a throw in for the U.S. here in the 9th minute. Short to Bryan. Sonnet. All the way upfield. And out. Morgan's making the run for this ball. Alex Morgan getting to it first. Rapinoe in the box. Rapinoe got by her, settled. Horan looks, shoots, that's blocked, and almost headed in a goal. Would have been an own goal off of Kennedy.
And this is credit to Tobin Heath. She senses that the quick throw-in is on. Alex Morgan reads it as well, and then Rapinoe's making that far post run. It skips by her, but Lindsay Horan making that secondary run, trying to get in the far post. You know what she wants to do. She wants to curl that into that back post, cut across her defender right there with this touch, lines it up, but it's the deflection off the second defender and then off the third that almost sneaks in.
Corner from the opposite side now for Rapinoe. Puts one up, headed down once, turned away. Bryan was after it. Morgan Bryan making her 6th start 2018 after battling with some injuries. I thought that entire ball was out, and it was. It's another goal kick.
Couple of good spells for the U.S. and that woman right there, Morgan Bryant. She's been getting forward more in the attack. You're seeing her inside-out runs, providing more of that offensive thrust that I don't think the U.S. quite had against Japan. Yes, they were great in transition moments, but the support, the layers weren't always there.
Williams putting it long. Here by Ertz. Heath battles, wins the battle. But the foul was called. Couldn't hear the whistle. She's in disbelief.
Those two have gone at it already early in this match. Tobin Heath gets the better of her. Ref doesn't think so, thinks that's a foul. I don't know, I think that's pretty soft.
Williams holding it there. Back and forth they go. We've got two of the game's top strikers in the world. They've hardly had a touch today, right? Kerr and Morgan. Horan playing it up. There's a touch for Alex. Taken off the ball and cleared away. You've got Kerr as the number one.
I do. I think with her run of form, and Alex Morgan's coming on strong, though. And the way Kerr is dominating the NWSL and continuing that with Australia.
16 goals, 16 games for Morgan in the USA jerseys. It's played back to goal. Cleared by Nair. Neither goalkeeper really tested so far, but it's early. 12th minute. With Kerr and Morgan on the field, you would think goalkeepers will have to come up big at some point as Devanna tried to play it inside. That's cut off. Kellen Knight couldn't get it. Heath was slowed down. Pushed all the way back by Kennedy for Williams. Kellen Knight. And now the U.S. gets it back.
I think the U.S. has to continue to hit that far side with Heath going against Kellen Knight. Seems to be landing in favor of the U.S.
Rapinoe, broken up. Polkinghorn. Kennedy. Kennedy is an Alex Morgan teammate with the Orlando Pride of NWSL. The middle, Kerr. Has good speed, brought down, and again, no fouls. Miriam Leon letting play continue. Referee from El Salvador. Sonnet, Horan. Pressure there from Australia, turnover there. Kerr is looking for a run in the box. They don't find her, it's Butt. Broken up there and cleared. The U.S. gave the ball away in a very bad spot. Bailed out by that foul.
That was one of the few times that you've been able to see Australia put the U.S. on their back heel. It was almost token pressure, and the U.S. squandered it. After they won it, this is the look that they had with Devanna cutting inside, and Tamika Butt, who had a goal in that opening match against Brazil, coming in.
Tamika Butt was the player that scored last year when Australia upset the USA and won this tournament. Can Australia do it again? They believe they can. The Nair clearance upfield on a bounce. Morgan heading it towards Rapinoe. That's blocked away. Back at the halfway line. Sauerbrunn. Sent forward by Australia. Kerr will recover. Could be trouble. 1 against 2 at the moment. Kerr trying to play it across unselfishly rather than take on another player. Horan on the ball. Sam Kerr, by the way, the all-time leading goal scorer in NWSL history with 51 goals, including the 9 this season. Dahlkemper going upfield, right sideline for Heath. And again, the matchup, Kellen Knight winning it. Van Egmond Going long for Butt. That's blocked. Horan on the ball. Tapped ahead to Bryant. Upfield. Rapinoe, too far. Williams saw it coming. 15 minutes gone. What can you tell us?
A couple good looks from the U.S. They know that Australia is going to defend hard. They're flying forward, and the U.S. is just having little wrinkled touches. That one right there by Julie Ertz into Morgan Bryan. The midfield was beaten with that one little nuanced touch, and then they're going to look in behind. Rapinoe trying to get in on the end of that, but I think the U.S. is incredibly aware of that high press that's going to come from Australia up their backside, and they're just playing. They're rolling their defenders either with a touch or a pass, and they're solving it pretty well. But you're still seeing how dangerous Australia can be, and that they are rather direct in their play forward.
Australia can be direct and also predictable, but as Jill Ellis told us yesterday, what they do is so good, so effective, it's tough to beat them.
They match up athletically with the U.S., and that's pretty rare in the world's game. The U.S. usually has the advantage in that arena.
Carpenter, youngest to ever play in the NWSL, loses there. Morgan for Rapinoe, a step behind the defender, hit the box, Rapinoe with a miss. Their best look of the night.
And one of the areas that Jill Ellis focused on coming to this matchup was winning it in the wide areas. Here's where Australia likes to play, set their play from. Rapinoe wins that matchup, and then Morgan Bryan just sets her free with that little pass into space. Rapinoe does nice to cut off her defender, maintain her own angle. Right in here, you're gonna see it. She takes her out of the game with that touch there, but then can't tuck it into that far post.
One of 10 nominees for the Player of the Year. 2018, Sam Kerr's another who's playing in this game for Australia.
Both well deserved. I think FIFA's gotten it wrong before, but this year it looked like a good list.
They have gotten it wrong many times. But this year, a good list. Rapinoe's form has been excellent. Morgan got taken down, and finally a whistle, and finally a foul on Polkinghorn.
And that's that pressure we were talking about, JP, with the center back stepping hard on the central striker, in this case, Alex Morgan. They're going to track her hard into that half space. Can the U.S. get the runs in behind off of it?
He fires it, but that's wide of Williams. Another goal kick for Lydia Williams. But despite a lack of whistles, it's been fairly physical.
Both teams are going to have to adapt to that. They're going to be smiling, knowing they can go in pretty hard on their challenges.
Williams will grab that one. Alex Morgan was right there. Morgan spoke to us yesterday about her confidence. Not just her own confidence, but the way the team is playing as well. Australia fell asleep on that throw-in.
That's twice now, and it's something the U.S. perhaps was aware of coming into this matchup, trying to take advantage of those dead ball situations. The throw-in's considered a dead ball.
The fake there from Ertz to receive that ball. Sarabon for Dunn. Dunn trying to recover. That's another terrific move by Dunn on the wing. Still Dunn advancing. US will play it back. Dahlkemper up the wing, right side for Heath. Sonnet. Heavy touch, recovered it. Laid off by Morgan. Sonnet. US moving it around now. Sauerbrunn high up the field from her center back spot. Dunn. US trying to get some numbers forward. Possession lost, but it still belongs to the U.S. for this throw-in. Dunn. Trying to split two defenders with that pass. Australia got it forward. Too far away from Kerr. Dahlkemper deflected by Kerr. Polkinghorn up the middle. Sam Kerr on the turn. Devanna didn't make that run that Kerr thought she was going to make. Bryant Morgan. Those two get locked together. The foul is called. '20th minute, zeros on the board.
And you're seeing a couple looks like this for Alex Morgan. It's that inside-out run, trying to pull those center backs apart. Polkinghorn just gets her from behind. The pace matchup is going to favor Alex Morgan against Claire Polkinghorn all night.
Williams getting set for this free kick. Rapinoe is ready to strike. 2 in the wall. About 22 yards away at an angle. Looking low, that's blocked. Rapinoe after it by the corner flag. Ball went out. Player down is Logarzo. It'll be a corner for the U.S., their third. 33-year-old Megan Rapinoe will take it. Here in the 22nd minute, Ertz, one of the targets. So good in the air. Rapinoe goes short this time. The return from Dunn. Rapinoe launching that, headed away. Off Devana. Nice move by Devana. 45 international goals, their all-time leading scorer. Takes it upfield. Lisa Devana putting it into space. A chance, shot, and a score. Australia's on the board, Logarzo. They get the first one. Chloe Logarzo with her 5th international goal. Great work by Devana.
And it's just all pace and power. When you have the ability to pull away from defenders when you're dribbling the ball, that is a glimpse at how fast you are. Devana might be one of the older players, but she's still got the pace. This is off of the U.S.'s own set play, their own corner kick. And here comes Australia streaming down. It's that cut. It sells Becky Sauerbrunn the wrong way. And then here, she cuts across Morgan Bryan, eliminating her completely from the play, and also opening up this passing lane. It causes Abby Dahlkemper to slide across, and then Logarzo is wide-eyed to this situation, cuts across the defender. Now she's in. Now it's 1v1 against Alyssa Nair. She gets her head up. Devana with the ball right in stride. And Logarzo does the rest. Near post Alyssa Nair as she's coming off her line. Brilliant finish, brilliant counterattack from a team that took advantage of one thing you think the U.S. is about to strike on.
And you saw one of the earlier replays. She had to head up twice. She had Kerr as one of the players breaking, waited for that run by Logarzo, and she was wide open.
And just the little nuances of the angles of your movement, the ability to cut off your defender, yes, but it also changes your angle in which you can lay a player into space, so she's not running away from goal, so she's running straight at it. Now she has both options. She can go near post, far. She chose wisely.
Very experienced Lisa Devana. 3 World Cups on her resume.
And not always a starter either.
Free kick, U.S. They trail for the first time in this tournament. Next on FS1, coming up soon, MLS Soccer Sunday kicks off. Zlatan Ibrahimovic and the LA Galaxy hosting Orlando City. Coverage begins at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Galaxy on a roll. Great comeback the other night against LAFC. A couple of goals last 8 to 10 minutes or so to get a point out of it. Bryan. Horan. The U.S. looking for a quick answer back. Heath in the box, playing it across. Rapinoe was making a run. U.S. had 3 options there in blue in the box. The U.S. in an unfamiliar position here, trailing.
And against a team that's still explosive going forward, so if the U.S. wants to get even more aggressive, Australia can put another one by them.
Garzo with the goal. Came in the 22nd minute. Australia with the lead here. Can they upset the U.S. a second time. Free kick U.S. They'll play it short. Dahlkemper leaves it. Sonnet for Becky Sauerbrunn. Sauerbrunn plays for the Utah Royals. That's her club team. Moves it left for Dunn. Rapinoe checks off. Didn't get the ball back. Comes back to Sauerbrunn.
She's asking questions of the right back Carpenter. Megan Rapinoe is with her movement.
Over the top. It's too long. Intended for Alex Morgan.
And that's one thing with Australia. The U.S. knows it. They track hard. They track you into spaces, so you can pull them out of shape. It's just a matter of getting that next run in behind for the space you want vacated.
Quiet games so far for Morgan and Kerr. Two gifted strikers. But we're a long way from the finish line. Just here in the first half, 26th minute. A throw in here for the U.S. Dunn towards Alex Morgan. She got taken down. Play continues. Ernst. Horan. Morgan Bryant. Given away. Picked off. Here's Davana. Counters on. Kerr makes a run. Davana. Poor ball in the end. Otherwise, they'll have another opportunity.
And the timing was off. You saw when Kerr wanted it. Davana didn't have her head up. Couldn't release it.
Rapinoe's after this ball. U.S. have been guilty of a few bad passes in a bad spot.
And what's interesting about it, though, is that the U.S., I think their organization has been better offensively. The layers they've had, the angles have been better, with that midfield three in particular. But then, like you said, some just poor decisions ultimately on the release or the execution of it.
Sonnet. Moving it ahead. Pressure from Davana. Becky Sauerbrunn. Dunn. Trying to find Morgan. It's a difficult ball to try to reach her with. Rasso. Try to drop it off. Carpenter. Polkinghorn for Australia. This Australia team ranked number 8 by FIFA, number 2 in Asia, second only to Japan, who they lost to in the Asian Cup final. Right off the face. Carpenter's going to feel that for a bit. 28th minute, play is stopped. Only goal in the game, Lagarzo scored it, 22nd minute, off a terrific feed from Davana.
And this is a look that usually Australia wants to have. Not with Carpenter going down, but it's with Van Egmond playing out of that center back spot. She picks it up low, and then this is the ball that Dunn picks up and just rifles it right off of Carpenter.
No chance for her to get out of the way of that. You know, normally you would think that Australia might be a tired team because Australia's so far away, but so many of the players are playing in the United States, so that should not be as big of a factor.
No, it's a huge asset to them. Not only are they improving because of the level of play in the NWSL, but being here in this tournament, just a minor adjustment, perhaps going from West Coast to East.
It's been tough for Australia. Alan Steyich told us about that yesterday. Their budget not as big as other countries, and also the travel when you're playing all across the world. Australia is so far away.
But he also did say that this is the biggest pool of talent they've been able to draw from. About 25 players heading into the World Cup that feel there's depth they've never had before. And he's included some of those young players in this roster here.
A lot of the U.S. players, too, have played in Australia. We should point that out. In their professional league, when the NWSL takes a break, they go over there to play. Emily Sonnet's one of those players.
Yeah, there's a strong reciprocity between the two countries. Australia looking to win the bid to host the World Cup. I think it's a developing soccer nation, and both countries are taking advantage of it. And It's interesting in the sense that these players play double seasons almost, but it's really to get a full season in what we compare to the men's world.
Carpenter appears to be all right. And the game resumes. There'll be some stoppage time put on at the end of this first half. Right now she's off the field. Just joining us, U.S. is trailing 1-0 in this Tournament of Nations second game. The goal scored by Lagarzo in the 22nd minute. Dunn is ready for this throw-in. Last time the U.S. lost a game was to this Australia side last July. Look at the record since, unbeaten in 17. Could Australia do it again?
Could be one of those matchups. Like I said earlier, when you match the U.S. physically for pace and power, it becomes a much more difficult task because of the way the United States likes to play historically.
Back to Williams. And you're adding that confidence factor to Australia, which they didn't seem to have before. And again, they believe they can win. Not that way with that pass from Carpenter. Ertz. Heath. Cutting. Couldn't get the shot off, but thought she was going to get a corner. She does not. She touched it last. It's a goal kick.
Big asset for the U.S. to have that woman back. Tobin Heath, you saw the impact she had against Japan when she comes in. Just a different wrinkle with her ability to slow play down or speed it up based on what she reads, take players on.
Has anything changed to you since that goal? Either side?
I thought the U.S. was actually on the front foot before that goal.
Horan on the front foot now. Looking. That ball was between two players that were open. Dunn will have a throw in. Ertz. For Rapinoe. Looking for a give and go. Couldn't do it there because of the Australian pressure. Julie Ertz. Another ball turned over. Very much unlike the U.S. to be giving the ball away in some of these places where it seems like a secure pass would be rather simple. Seems. Devanna to Kerr, then the return. Devanna still has good wheels at 33. Taken out of the play as the ball went out. Still going to belong to Australia.
JP, some of the passes are just bad. Some of the decisions are bad. But sometimes it's that Australia, again, has the pace to close down and make spaces that seem open disappear quickly. That was an instance of the U.S. closing down space that looked on.
34th minute, Devanna trying to sneak in. Instead, it's a goal kick for Alyssa Nair. Nair, born and raised in Connecticut, getting to play today in front of family and friends. Van Egmond slowing it down on the circle. Australia with a 1-0 lead here. Tamika Butt to the right sideline for Carpenter. Back for Butt. Carpenter's run on the right side. Headed away up the middle. Bad spot. Van Egmond trying to crack it. That was blocked as well. Ball was won by Kennedy high upfield. That's the center back. Push to the outside. The cut by Devanna. Going inside. Nice cut again outside. Played it across. Had Kerr open. Devanna's been very dangerous.
Yeah, she's just selling a lot on that far side there against Emily Sonnet. But I think both sides are interesting for Australia. You have Haley Rasso tucking in and allowing the right back Carpenter to get forward. It's really posing questions for Crystal Dunn. Who does she pick up?
Soft pass there from Heath. Now, good second effort US scrambling to win this ball and break out, and then the foul drawn by Lindsey Horan. Tobin Heath with it for the US. Place it all the way to the back. Sauerbrunn, left sideline, headed away by Carpenter. Sauerbrunn got another touch for Dunn. Carpenter, good second and third effort for both she and Dunn. Throw in for Australia. Speed of play, they wanted it quickly for Rasso. Sauerbrunn shielding her away. It's going to be the US ball.
And you can tell Australia's seen this US team play because Rasso's tucking in behind, and Kerr and Devan on that far side are pushing higher because they know the US wants to rotate Dunn high. So that's how Australia's looking to defend Dunn's rotation up the pitch. Both teams, though, looking to win it in those flank areas, and perhaps that's why you're not seeing an Alex Morgan, a Sam Kerr as often. A lot of the play being on this right side for Australia, the left side for the US.
37th minute, and Australia throw-in from Ellie Carpenter. She'll get another. Made a professional debut at the age of 15 in Australia. Off Dunn. Up for grabs, Lagarzo fouled in the act of trying to win that ball. That is your goal scorer, Chloe Lagarzo. And a yellow card, first booking for that infraction.
The ball was just sitting up. Both players have their eyes on it, and she leads with the elbow right at the head of Lindsey Horan. Right call.
Ball was sent in long. Van Egmond in the air, gave it right back to the US. Heath. Hurts. For Sauerbrunn high upfield. Waits for some movement. Finds Dunn on the left. 1v1 at the moment versus Rasso, who reached in. Dunn, great recovery, then lost it in the end. Rapinoe will get to it. Curling ball up. Oh, she had Horan on the break. Ertz. Nice move by Julie Ertz, a power move. She'll find Rapinoe. Heavy touch. Cleared away. Dunn settles. Sauerbrunn. Look at how tight Australia is to the US player. Their pursuit has been good. Horan wide. Into the box, and it bounces to Williams.
And with their tight tracking, you can see it. Morgan Bryant, she's just trying to pull out wide. It can open up that little bit of channel. They look to play that inside for Tobin Heath and Alex Morgan. Running in behind that back line.
Heath going forward. Cutting it back. Finding Rapinoe. Lost it. And a blast there. Grabbed. Williams apparently kept that ball in play. All the way upfield. Too far for Kerr. Foul was given.
So this is where I just think the U.S. has to use the aggressiveness of Australia against them. You either roll your defender, you play quickly out of pressure, you find that weak side, but they've got to use their over-condensing, their tracking of the runs to pull them out of shape and find that next player getting into the space that you want to open up. Advantage is wide open on that far side.
40th minute, free kick, Australia from long distance. They're up by a goal. Garso scoring in the 22nd minute. Ball flighted in, that was Kerr. and no flag went up. Had she got that clean, could have been 2-0.
And the U.S. opted to hold a really high line on this set piece. I don't know how Kerr got so open.
Moran moving it right sideline and lost by Sonnet. Australia has rattled the U.S. in this opening half. I think that's fair to say.
We've seen it time and time again with the U.S. when teams can high press them and they can match them and maintain this intensity for 90 minutes. It asks a lot of questions of the U.S. and their style of play and how they're going to solve it. This is a good test for them.
That's why they have tournaments like this, to play quality teams, different style teams. Japan, first game, Australia, second. And then they'll face Brazil, who beat Japan earlier today, 2-1. They'll face them next Thursday in Bridgeview, Illinois. Morgan. Horan. Sonnet. Vidal Kemper finding Rapinoe. The pressure was coming immediately. Off the chest of Rapinoe. Moving it ahead, that's going to be cleared out. Throw in USA, 42nd minute. Rapinoe wants to get it in quickly. Morgan Bryan forced back.
And pinned in the flanks, right? Yep, and pinned in the flanks. They're just squeezing the U.S. into the side.
Crystal Dunn throwing, 7th consecutive start for Dunn. Will this be her position come World Cup qualifying, or even the next World Cup? We'll find out. Rapinoe blocked. Won by Australia. Short ball up the middle. Tamika Butt pushing it wide, not wide enough. U.S. can counter. Tobin Heath giving it up. The turn, Morgan cutting it back, trying to play it back when the flag was up.
And that's so unfortunate because this was so well read by Emily Sonnet. Australia was just trying to get out that weak side, and Emily Sonnet read it the whole way. The pass wasn't played with enough pace, and she jumped the channel. Then she continues her run. It's just a 1-2 with Tobin Heath, and she's in fact onside when this ball is released, it looks like. Nice turn as well. But we don't get to see how that ends up.
She said she had to be more patient that last game against Japan, and it did pay off for her. Had the 3 goals. Look at Devana. Rasso. Slipping it through, almost had Devana. Upfield off Rapinoe. Vanigman. Foul there on Ertz, taking down Tamika Butt. 44th minute, Australia with a 1-0 lead.
I think what's been so impressive about Australia is they're pressing you hard defensively, but then when they win it, oftentimes they're very composed and they slow it down. They find that open player to dissolve the initial wave of pressure.
Rasso. The ball was last touched by Dunn. 44th minute. Lagarzo with the game's only goal. Australia surprising the U.S. again. It's a throw in deep for Carpenter. Back for Kerr. Kennedy drives one. One in the air. The U.S. couldn't clear it out. Rasso, curling ball, back post, Devana! Wide. They're looking dangerous again, Australia.
They're getting so many numbers on the back line of the U.S. The timing has been Right. Look at that. That's Sam Kerr. You've got 4 players kind of pushing that back line of the U.S. in behind, and then it's the recycled ball that Rasso just drifts into that far post for Devana, who reacts off of it, sneaking it off that back shoulder of Emily Sonnet.
Ball sent ahead by Lissonaire. Australia got to it first. Second, and now it's Van Egmond going back to her own goalkeeper, Williams.
I think that's something the U.S. can do more of, is just play the ball back to your goalkeeper or have your center backs drop a little bit deeper when you do win it.
Down this right side, we're in stoppage time. First of 3 minutes minimum added on. He drives it across. One there by Polkinghorn. Couldn't clear it out deep enough. Heath recovers. Sonnet drives it. That's blocked as well. Devana couldn't control it. Slipped through. Australia is able to move it up off the head of Kerr by herself at the moment, and the U.S. recovers. Nair. Sauerbrunn. The Bryant pass, then the return to Morgan Bryant. Ertz. Heath. Horan. Ball sent the other way and inside the circle. Dahlkemper wins for Horan. Ertz. Heath holds there. Pressure the ball from Australia. Rasso almost got to that. Sauerbrunn. Knocked away. The Sauerbrunn throw in. Rapinoe looking for some help. Nice cut by Rapinoe, thinking about it, fires it, and it's stopped by Williams. Good effort from Rapinoe.
And that ball looked like it had some serious swerve on it. Lana Kennedy's just up really tight on her. She cuts against her momentum there. Look at that. That just knuckles in on Lydia Williams, who has to gobble up the rebound.
Sonnet goes back to Alyssa Nair. Chased by her club teammate Sam Kerr. Kennedy goes forward. It'll bounce away from Kerr. Sauerbrunn in the air. Give it away again. Tap forward to Devana. Lisa Devana holds. Help is coming. It's Van Egmond. You've got Kerr in the box and Rasso. Devana had it blocked. Has it still. Drops it back. Tamika Butt. Low shot wide of Nair.
And this all starts with Australia picking up a second ball. Devana gets on it, gets her own rebound, and then that one just drifts wide of Alyssa Nair. It was almost a slow reaction, as though she saw it late.
Almost done with this first half. Lots to talk about for the U.S. at halftime as they trail here. And that is the final whistle of the first half. Interesting first half. Logarzo with the game's only goal for Australia. It came in the 22nd minute. After the break, we'll come back. Highlights and stats with Katie Witham and Leslie Osborne.
Out here, nothing can be taken from the man who has freedom. Coors Banquet. Carry the West.